first-place Nationals in town. While Washington is not looking at a postseason run, they're sure looking to mess up those hopes for others. There's no reason to believe that late-season games against the Nats aren't important. The Phillies can easily page back to recent memories and the importance of each and every win. Left of the month of August, and the Phillies head back into the National League East for a 3-game series that begins tonight against the Washington Nationals. The Phillies have 9 games left this year against the Nats, and the next 3 will be here at home in front of sold-out crowds. Hi, everybody. I'm Tom McCarthy, along with Gary Matthews, who's back from his stint on radio. Chris Wheeler will be along in just a little bit. Well, the Phillies just disposed of the San Francisco Giants. They took 2 of 3 from the Giants. So they begin play tonight, a game up in the wild card. And now, Sarge, they play some teams that are less than 500 with their record, but they still need to play better baseball.
Well, you're right about that. Those type of teams, Tom, though, you want to be able to sweep those teams. Now, take a look there at the graphic. 29 games there with teams there with below 500. Those are the teams there that you really want to win against, really concentrate. The other teams there, San Diego, if you can split with those teams there, you're going to be out on the West Coast. Always difficult to win there, but if you can win the series, you've done your job.
Well, tonight it's Roy Halladay who takes the baseball for the Phillies, and Halladay has been very good against the Washington Nationals, not only this year, but also in his career. Sarge, he is 6-1 against the Nats in his career.
Yeah, believe it or not, though, he should probably have another 4 or 5 victories this year if he had a little bit more run support. But nevertheless, their opening day, here's what it's all about as Doc really starts to use that surgeon and cut these guys right up. This guy is around the plate, a lot of different pitches he will throw. He doesn't knock hitters down. Gets them to make contact. He's always on the corner, it seems like it. That's what makes it difficult for guys to hit. There's that ground ball, a double play there. That's what a pitcher really likes to have there to get him out of trouble. Now look what he's done at home there, 9-4 record. What I really like, though, is that ERA, 1.95 there, strikeouts 97. That would show you he is around the plate. And, Tom, guess what? Only 14 walks as he goes on and pitches there here at home. That's pretty good.
And statistically, he is surging. He has won his last 5 ball games. He's looking to make it 6 in a row tonight against the Washington Nationals. It's game 1 of a 3-game series. Jason Marquis off the disabled list, making his 3rd start since coming off the DL. He'll be opposed by Roy Halladay. Well, Placido Polanco has been red hot this year, not only against the Washington Nationals, but also here at home. 43 hits since the All-Star break. We'll get to the lineups in the first pitch when we return. Phillies baseball is brought to you by Toyota. There are many reasons to buy a Toyota, and now's the perfect time to get yours during Toyota's National Clearance Event. Buy Southwest Airlines. Want to see what a real airline is like? Go to southwest.com. Grab your bag. It's on. Buy Xfinity. It's TV, phone, and internet reinvented from Comcast. Buy Citizens Bank with the most 7-day branches in the Philadelphia area. And buy Independence Blue Cross. We're here for you every step of the way. well against the National League East. They have a better overall winning percentage than the New York Mets against teams within the division. So the Phillies will get set to face them for these 3 games. Let's take a look at the National starting lineup, brought to you by Xfinity, only from Comcast. Leading it off at center field, Nyjer Morgan. Ian Desmond, the shortstop, bats second. Adam Dunn is over at first base, hitting third, followed by Ryan Zimmerman, the cleanup batter. Roger Bernardina's in left field, he'll hit fifth. Mike Morse bats sixth. And the bottom third of Ivan Rodriguez, Adam Kennedy, and Jason Marquis. And it's Rodriguez and Kennedy that have the best numbers of anybody against Roy Halladay, who's making his 26th start of the year, Wheels. And boy, he just keeps getting better and better as the year goes on.
Yeah, he doesn't walk batters. Look at that. That's almost unbelievable. 22 walks in 193 innings. A lot of things in his numbers will jump right out at you, but I don't think anything more than that. Here's our scouting report from Southwest Airlines. Everybody knows how he sinks it, cuts it, moves his fastball all over. He's pitched against the Nationals quite a bit, once with the Phillies and then also in the interleague play. And in his last 5 starts, a 5-0 record with a 1.62 earned run average. The keys to the game, well, the Nats and the Phillies equal tough games. They almost always go after each other. And Roy Halladay with a little winning streak right now, go for 6.
Well, a good way to start it. A fastball on the inside corner to Nyjer Morgan. And a reminder, it's the end of the model year, and Nissan's laying it on the line. Nissan's bottom line sales event going on now. Morgan slices one to left. That's going to be a base hit. You got to watch him. He can fly. Trying for 2. The throw to second offline, and he is safe. 13th double of the year for Nyjer Morgan. Just off the disabled list, and he's having no trouble running, as we've seen these last couple of days against the Braves and now here against the Phils.
Yeah, I mean, he just jams him with a cutter right there, and Morgan can fly. Really surprised he tried to do this because he's a dead duck with any kind of an accurate throw. And then he could have stolen second base because he's such a good base stealer. But hey, he gets him off to a good start with a leadoff double.
So Nyjer Morgan's aboard at scoring position. Here's Ian Desmond.
Last 3 games, Phillies have fallen behind in the first inning. All 3 games to the Giants. And hopefully not here tonight.
Morgan has stolen 30 bases this year. He's been caught 14 times. And Halladay steps off, and
I call that
was a balk. It was late. It was odd. And Morgan goes to third.
It just didn't look right. You know, and Halladay was looking around like, I don't think anybody saw that, did they? See, right there. Oh, yeah. Wow. That's so unlikely. You know, he could have continued and just spun towards second, and then it's not a balk. But he didn't. He just kept looking straight towards home plate and then stepped off, and an obvious balk. They were kind of waiting, I think, to see if he would spin.
I think they're also going to defer to his success as a pitcher. And they were probably all sitting there thinking, I would be surprised to see something like that happen.
Yeah, that didn't look good, but well, you know, he may give up a run here. They're going to play the infield back and concede it.
A little low, and it's 3-0 to Ian Desmond.
He's upset right now with Cuzzy right out of the chute. He thinks 2 of those pitches were strikes.
There's Phil Cuzzy, the home plate umpire. The crew chief, Jerry Crawford's over at third. Chris Guccione's at second, and Brian O'Nora's around at first. And Desmond takes all the way, and it's a strike on the inside corner. He doesn't hide his emotions that much when it comes to the umpires. You could just see it as he took that ball back from Carlos Ruiz.
Like, was that a strike?
In the air, shallow center field. Torino coming on. Morgan tagging from third. Shane makes the catch. Morgan breaks, then stops. Throw is offline, but still. One away. Good job getting in quickly.
Well, there's no way a third base coach in that situation is going to send a guy that shallow, and they respect Victorino's arm, and there's nobody out. So now if there's one out, they're going to send him there. Especially with the way he can run, he would have scored because the throw was way offline.
So one away, and here's Adam Dunn. Dunn 0 for 9 in the series against the Braves. And with Josh Willingham on the disabled list and out for the rest of the year, really the run production is up to Dunn and Zimmerman, the next 2 hitters for the Nats.
Big loss, Josh Willingham. He really gave him a thunder bat in that lineup from the right side.
Most home runs here at the ballpark. Dunn with 10, Willingham with 10.
No surprise, Chipper Jones and David Wright.
Swing and a miss, and it's 2-1. Well, the fastball wasn't working with the first 2 pitches, so he goes with something soft, the curveball.
Yeah, that was a curveball. He'd thrown a couple cutters. A lot of wind blowing out to right center tonight.
With a low ball forward, Dunn's aboard, so runners on first and third with 1 away. And that'll bring Ryan Zimmerman to the plate. During the 2010 season, Turkey Hill will contribute $100 for each Phillies victory and 5 cents for each carton of Phillies Grand Slam ice cream sold to support the Phillies youth baseball and softball programs. It's a little early for the rally cap, but fans are settling in, getting a better look at what's going on, and hoping that Roy Halladay can roll a double play ball with Ryan Zimmerman at the plate. Zimmerman this year has hit into 12 double plays, and he takes a breaking ball for a strike.
He was trying to get Dunn to chase a couple sinkers there. Those last 2 pitches were sinkers down and away, and hoping he would do just that. You know, roll a weak ground ball. Even though they had the infield back, he was willing to give up the run for the out. Now he wants that double play.
Zimmerman, as you saw, has hit the 6th straight. A swing and a miss. It's 0-2. He is a strikeout victim, or a strikeout candidate. He has 80 strikeouts. National League leaders in road homers. Zimmerman and Dunn tied with 15.
Dunn has 151 strikeouts.
It's a lot of strikeouts
for 2 guys back to back.
Yeah.
Because you can find them at a certain part in the game, you know, and strike them out and not let anything happen. Those are 2 gregarious guys down there at first right
now. Way outside. Good play by Ruiz. The ball shoots 5 feet to the right of Carlos Morgan. With his speed, if he gets a good jump, he could be headed home. On the Toyota Major League scoreboard, well, things were going well for the Cubs until the 9th inning when Carlos Marmol imploded and gave up a bases-loaded triple to Rick Ankiel. That gave the Braves the lead, and Billy Wagner saved it. So Atlanta leads the division by 3 over the Phillies.
Walked the bases loaded in that inning, did Marmol.
I think the crowd is thinking along the same lines as Roy Halladay that these pitches are pretty close.
Yeah, it's probably not a strike. You know, that pitch is outside, and you can see Ruiz bring it back. See if they run here. Try and stay out of a double play.
Dunn leads off first, doesn't go, and a fastball inside, ball 4, and the bases are loaded. Now the tough part is Bernardina is a lot quicker than Zimmerman. If you're thinking about a double play ball here.
Well, Halladay's a guy who throws a lot of pitches, but he didn't want to have an inning like this right out of the chute. This is a little bit like what happened to Cole Hamels last night, and Phillies really got behind the 8 ball. And Sanchez pitched a great game against him.
11 balls, 7 strikes so far for Roy. Now Carlos Ruiz is going to go out to the mound and talk to Halladay. Halladay over his last 6 games is 5-0 with a 1.62 earned run average. He's tied for 4th in the league in wins with 15, 3rd in the league in ERA at 2.24. He leads in innings pitched and is 2nd in strikeouts.
His agitation factor is high right now.
With himself, with Phil Cuzzi, and the situation.
Yeah, it's just uncomfortable out there.
Throws a breaking ball in there for a strike to Bernardino.
I'm sure nobody wants to go out there and say anything.
Even when Carlos walked out, Roy got to step back off the mound.
It was quick.
Another breaking ball. And it's 1 ball and 1 strike.
He's just trying to find something right now, too. He's not, these close pitches are not being called strikes, and they're not swinging at a lot of them. And right now he goes back-to-back curveballs to Bernardino. Did throw 1 changeup to Zimmerman.
Bernardino's going to be playing left field, they think, on an everyday basis now that Josh Willingham is on the DL. You see what Roy has allowed in the first inning this season. 9 runs in 25 starts. 1-2 the count. And it's 2-2.
There's that cutter. And it was just too much inside right there for him to swing at.
Towards second base. Utley's got it. Flips to second for 1. Over to first. In time, a 4-6-3 double play. A breaking ball, which has been the best pitch this inning for Roy Halladay. It took 22 pitches, but he gets through the first with a big-time double play ball off the bat of Roger Bernardino as he gets through the top of the first. For the Phillies, we go to the bottom of the first, a scoreless game. Let's take a look at the Phil starting lineup, brought to you by Xfinity, only from Comcast. Jimmy Rollins leads it off at shortstop, followed by Placido Polanco and Chase Utley. Jason Worth is the cleanup batter tonight. Raul Ibanez hits 5th, followed by Shane Victorino in center. Bottom third of Mike Sweeney, Carlos Ruiz, and Roy Halladay. And they're facing right-hander Jason Marquis, who has only made a couple starts since returning from the disabled list.
Well, you look at those numbers and you think, whoa, what's going on with this guy? Well, as Tom said, he just got off the disabled list. Phillies smoked him in the first 2 times they saw him this year. Then he pitched another game. Then he went on the DL for 3.5 months. This is what he's a sinker ball pitcher right now. Absolute ground ball guy, and he has to keep the ball down at this point in his career or he really gets hurt.
Little number to the left of the mound. Zimmerman's got it, and he flips over to first in time to retire Rollins. One away here in the bottom of the first. Jason Marquis is 31 years old. He'll turn 32 tomorrow. And this is his 11th year in the big leagues. His teams that he's been part of have made the postseason in his first 10 years in the majors. Not going to happen this year.
No, that streak will be broken, and also probably the streak of him winning 10 or more games. He's been a very good pitcher. They signed him in the offseason to a free agent contract, and thought he'd bring a nice veteran presence to their rotation. And you see his career numbers, and he turned his career around when he went to St. Louis and turned into a sinker ball pitcher. He used to be a 4-seam high fastball pitcher with Atlanta. Was good. He was good, but when he went to St. Louis, he got real good.
And he signed a 2-year, $15 million contract with the Nationals during the offseason. 1-1 the count to Placido Polanco. And it's 2-1.
First 2 Phillies played 3 in Washington. Then they went to Houston for 3, and they came home. And Marquis was the opening day pitcher here at Citizens Bank Park, and they hit him around. And they also hit him around in Washington.
Yeah, the 7th of April and the 12th of April. In those games, he allowed 12 earned runs in 8 1/3 innings, 14 hits, and 2 homers. And then eventually went on the DL and had some bone chips removed from his elbow. There's Chase Utley. He's waiting his turn. And it's 3-2 to Polanco.
You give that to him, not the other guy.
See Pauly's numbers against the Nationals this year, 425, and that began right out of the chute. He had a great opening day against Washington.
Yeah, that homer's a slam.
Ball 4. He's aboard with 1 away.
That's something that, of course, Marquis cannot afford because he, at this point in his career, especially this year, he's given up a lot of hits. I wonder if Roy Halladay balks much. How about 8 times in his whole career, and the last time 2005. And that was just be interested to see what he says about it. That was just like he lost concentration for a guy that is about as mentally strong as anybody will ever see on the mound.
Well, now he's hoping his team can answer his top of the first with a run or 2 here in the bottom of the first. Chase Utley is hitting 10 straight against the Nationals. Overall, he's hitting .275 with 11 home runs. And he takes a fastball for a strike. The Lucky McDonald's Phillies home run jackpot contestant is the great Charles Dickens of Philadelphia. I didn't know Charles was from Philadelphia. Phillies hit a home run in tonight's ball game, and Charles will win $200. Man could write.
Very good. Could have fit in the colonial times in Philadelphia. Chase Utley has really good numbers. 478 off Marquis, and he has a home run off him this year. That came on opening day on the 12th. Marquis started off really hot in that game. He retired first 9 in that game, and then they finally got to him 4th and 5th inning.
A little low, and it's 2 balls and 1 strike. Jim Riggleman had an interesting comment the other day about Jason Marquis. He said if he progresses and keeps getting more action on his ball and getting the ball down, and we see things are moving in the right direction, we'll leave him in the rotation. But we just can't leave him out there to get his brain speed in.
Yeah.
Opposite way. A flare toward left. Bernardina on the run. And he's there.
Got him with a changeup there. You could see Utley way out in front. Chase not happy with the at-bat because he really got fooled. You know, you're thinking sinker, sinker, sinker with Marquis. And watch the changeup right here. Down and away, and he just gets way out front, hits a weak fly ball to left.
So 2 outs, and here's Jason Worth. Jason, the league leader in doubles with 40, overall hitting .302 with 16 home runs. Has 2 career homers against Marquis. A lot of the Phillies hitters have some really good numbers against Washington, not only here in 2010, but also in their career.
Really playing Worth towards right center. Morgan shaded over that way, and they have Bernardino way off the line. Look how far he is a left fielder, and then you see out in that area. So that, you know, they don't expect him to pull necessarily down the line. So they're taking away the alley in left center and right center.
Now, is that because they're pitching him away, you think?
Yeah, I think so, but it's also when you watch Jason Worth, you think, how many balls does he pull down the third baseline? He just doesn't. You know, he's an alleys type of hitter. And in many cases, yeah, they'll pitch him away, but also you wouldn't normally see the left fielder that far over for a right-handed batter. Look where he is. I mean, he almost disappears. He's all the way over here.
Here's count 2-1 to Worth. And it's 3-1. Raul Ibanez waits on deck.
Talk about a guy who said Washington, especially down there last year.
Swing and a miss, and it's 3-2.
He really opened up that time.
He surprised him with that pitch. It looked like it was a cutter.
And he really opens up. It is. It cut a little bit away from him, and see how open he was when he took that swing. Couldn't get to it.
That's a lot of runs in the first inning of his starts this year.
Yeah, and in one of the starts against the Phillies, he did not give up anything in the first inning. So that's 13 runs in 4 starts.
Polanco goes. A line drive toward left field. That's it for a base hit. Heading to the wall. Polanco heading to third. He'll be held there. It's another double for Jason Worth, his 41st of the year.
See, that was interesting. We showed that. Great job with the camera there showing where that defense was set up with Bernardina. If they're playing him to pull the way you would with a right-handed batter, this is a line drive right at the left fielder. But because he's so far over and he pulls, it's a double. Now, unfortunately for the Phillies, it got off the wall in a hurry. Came right back to Bernardino.
Jason Worth is safe and secure in second. Safe and secure with the New York Life. So now 2 in scoring position. Here's Raul Ibanez. Raul was 3 for 10 on the homestand. And overall, 1 for 9 against Marquee for his career.
Real good swing by Jason Worth on that 3-2. Really stayed in.
See Raul's career numbers against the Nationals: .313 with 9 home runs, 29 runs batted in. He ripped them apart last year.
That's pretty good, considering he hasn't played against them that much. Jason Marquis trying to run a sinker back where he starts it at the left-handed hitter, run it back over the plate, didn't get there.
Try to do it again, and it's 2 balls and 1 strike. It's a cutter that time. I was hoping that it would be on the inside part of the plate, but it just kept on cutting in.
Yeah, and that's the one they hope they can jam a hitter or swing over it, or worse, they hit it foul. Thing looked like it had the plate, but maybe it was low.
Phil Cuzzi trying to establish his strike zone as well.
It has a plate, but I don't know. You can't tell from that angle. So many times they show that from the side, and it has the knees. So I don't know. It had the plate.
I think you heard the groans from the crowd because, Roy Halladay had so many close pitches at the top of the first. 2-2 the count to Ibanez. No score, bottom of the first. Phil's threatening. And a swing and a miss. Ibanez down on strikes. Rodriguez throws to first. And the side is retired. No runs, 1 hit. 2 men left in scoring position. We have completed 1. We go to the second. Still scoreless. Android phone with MLB.com At-Bat 2010. It features play-by-play, video highlights, and live audio broadcasts. Visit Phillies.com today on your iPhone, iPod Touch, Android, or BlackBerry for more details. Well, we go to the second. Some happy campers in the house tonight. I wonder if she's able to sign up for that app we just talked about. As Mike Morse hits one foul off to the right now to play, and it's 0-1.
Well, a lot of apps.
A lot of apps.
A lot of apps out there. I've added a bunch of them to my phone. They come in handy. Weather Channel. You
say the Weather Channel is your favorite one.
Great.
Chopper toward the middle, over to his left, Jimmy Rollins. And there's one away. Wheels, you've also been able to figure out the whole music, on-hold music for the folks that call you. That's very considerate of you.
Well,
I mean, I can't figure out. Half the apps on mine. And
the music thing's easy to do. I have 3 Elvis songs on there that
it rotates.
There's 3. Yes, they rotate. Put 3 on, they'll rotate.
I'm going to call you later on tonight. I'll call you a few times. I'll get all those songs.
Tell me how often they rotate. I have no idea.
Here's Ivan Rodriguez, and he takes one for a strike. It's 0-1. Well, all I know is that a couple of them that I've downloaded have disappeared. They're out there somewhere. I can't find them.
The apps?
Yeah. Rebooted.
Reboot it, try it again.
That's what I'm going to do.
Yeah. So I call Bill Tutts downstairs. He'll take care of it for you.
Toward the hole, Rollins has it. Long throw. One hop knocked down by Sweeney, and Rodriguez is safe. And Sweeney's upset with himself that he didn't hang on to that ball.
Well, that should be a hit. Well, we'll see how they scored. And Ivan Rodriguez continues to get hits. Well, now that I say that, watching where Jimmy was there, he really did not have to go that far for that ball, and he throws it low, and it's in the dirt, and he doesn't come up with it. Could be an E6.
Well, Jay Dudd, who's the official scorer tonight, taking a little bit of time to make his decision.
I think it's an error watching it on the replay.
Well, that's what he scored it.
Yeah, that's good call. I thought he had to go further for that.
Well, that is the 14th, or excuse me, that is the 33rd at bat for Ivan Rodriguez. He just peeked up at the scoreboard. The hitters a lot of times will do that just to see if they get a knock or not. And Rodriguez wants as many knocks as he can because he's still 206 hits away from becoming the first catcher to reach 3,000 hits in his career. Toward left field, Ibanez. It's not deep, but he got a good break on it, and he puts it away for the second out.
There's another jammer. Halliday's picking it up right now. He has really good stuff here tonight. He just was missing by a little bit in that first inning.
24/7 Phils fans get more with Phils insider Jim Salisbury. For over 20 years, he's been breaking team news, and it's the only place to get his inside access. And it's at csnphilly.com. Experience counts. Phillies insider Jim Salisbury, only on csnphilly.com.
Now be careful with this guy now. He can hit.
Jason Marquis this year is hitting a .143, but he's a .201 lifetime hitter. That's like a .330 lifetime hitter for a position player.
He has 29 doubles. 29 doubles. That's a pretty good hitter.
Well, back in 05, he had 10 extra base hits and 10 RBIs and won the Silver Slugger Award for the best offensive pitcher in the league.
You have to treat him with respect.
He hits it to the right side. Chase moves to his left, gobbles it up, and the side is retired. No runs, no hits. One man left after the error by Jimmy Rollins. We've completed 1.5. We go to the bottom of the second. Shane Victorino will lead things off. available for Sunday's ball game, and it's a great giveaway. It's the ShopRite Cole Hamels Lunch Bag Cooler. That's free to all fans 14 and under. Get your tickets by going to Phillies.com. Should be a pretty good buzz tomorrow night here at the ballpark. Steven Strasburg is scheduled to start for the Nationals. He was out taking batting practice today. He was hitting the ball pretty good. And Kyle Kendrick will get the start for the Phils. There is Steven Strasburg, who is getting his first look at Citizens Bank Park. That's his last decision, or his last outing, a no decision against the Diamondbacks. 7 strikeouts in 5 innings. He's just off the disabled list, too. Well, here's Shane Victorino to lead it off. Shane's had a pretty good homestand. He's 4 for 11. A couple RBIs, a couple runs scored. And see what he's done overall, counting that the last game in New York.
Well, Shane's really been swinging the bat great lately. Both sides of the plate, knocking in runs. He'd been running the bases, stealing bases. Really picked it up offensively now that he's healthy again.
And he pops it up behind second. Kennedy, the second baseman, calls everybody off. 1 away. Shane's been kind of like a hobo, too. He's been bouncing around position by position in the lineup, too. 7th, 6th, 5th, 2nd.
6th is a good spot for him. He jumped. It looked like he jumped a little bit at a breaking ball there and popped it up. Marquis trying to mix him up. He got Ibanez in a big spot in the first inning on a changeup. You know, he wants to throw his sinker as much as possible, but he's using his changeup, breaking ball. He's thrown slider. I mean, he's thrown cutter and curveball tonight.
There's Mike Sweeney, 1 for 3 lifetime against Marquis. Sweeney looking for his first home run since the month of May. He had 6 home runs when he was with the Mariners. And no homers so far in the National League. Chops it toward third. Boy, Ryan Zimmerman has become weirder and weirder with his tosses from over third.
Well, he evidently is having a little trouble throwing, and you know, he's smiling about it, but you know, there's some yippage involved there, it looks like, and he just doesn't get on top of his throws anymore, and he does this flip all the time, and he has Adam Dunn, you know, who is his buddy, ready to move because he's not quite sure where it's going. It's strange to watch, you know, a guy who threw as well as Zimmerman did when he first came up to be throwing the ball like that from third. And I was watching during infield, you know, during the batting practice, and that's the way he throws his throws over there even then.
Here's Carlos Ruiz. Carlos 3 for 10 on the homestand. And he hits one back toward the middle. Another base hit. 4 for 11 on the homestand. Laughing. Adam Dunn must have said something to him.
Adam Dunn is, as I mentioned, when Dunn and Sweeney were down there, all you needed was an umpire like Casey. Sean Casey, who used to play, and that would have been some conversation.
Here's Halladay, and he's taken all the way, and he takes a pitch for a strike.
Good job there by Carlos, not only get a hit, but turn the lineup over.
We had that great shot of Dunn during our trip to Washington when he picked up the uniform pieces from Polanco at second and brought them back over to Davey Lopes, just helping out.
He's helping out.
Outside, 1-1 to Halladay.
They say he is one of the best guys in the clubhouse. They were very happy when we were down there that he wasn't traded there at the deadline. His teammates were happy.
Chopper swing and bunt. Marquis bare hands. He's a good athlete. And he throws Halladay out. The side is retired. 1-3 on the putout. No runs. 1 hit. 1 man left. Phillies have stranded 3 through the first 2 innings. for all the information, and please submit your answer on the subject line. The question is, what 18-year-old Phillies rookie pitcher won the second game of the doubleheader, which was his first Major League win, after Jim Bunning's perfect game on Father's Day? I think a lot of people would be surprised to hear that there was a second game. The answer will be revealed in the 7th inning.
Yeah, he was only 18, and we just saw him a few weeks ago. He was in town.
Oh, was he here? I didn't see him here.
Yeah, he came in the office with Larry Shank. He was here for some reason. I forget why. Had a great talk. Good guy.
Oh, we go to the top of the 3rd, and Wheels, this is the time of the year when kids start to pack up and head off to college. And one of the folks that's going to head back to college is Colleen McCreesh, who is one of our interns, who is heading back to Ithaca. So we are sending her off. What do we want to give her? You want to give her the rest of the bundt cake that's in the office and maybe some of the cookies?
Colleen's been great. Whatever you want in that office. Well, you don't want everything that's in that office.
I'm sure there's some Sarge hats that are back there.
Oh, man, there's stuff all over the place in that office.
Well, Colleen, thank you for everything. Back to the beautiful town of Ithaca, New York, where in about a month it's going to be 20 degrees. Yeah, it's really cold up there.
Thanks for everything. Okay, Colleen.
Nyjer Morgan leads it off, and it's 1 ball and 1 strike to Nyjer Morgan.
We were told that she at one time was an intern for the sitcom The Office.
Great show, yes.
So the idea was she has now been a part of 2 sitcoms. Being a part of this nonsense in here also.
Charlie used to be an intern. He's worked his way all the way up to being the camera operator behind home plate.
He was an intern for Dwight Eisenhower.
That's not very nice.
I could have been too.
Swing and a miss by Morgan. He's down on strikes. 1 away. First strikeout for Halladay.
Looked like another curveball, and he went to that curveball in the first inning. Yeah, it was. He really jammed Morgan his first time up with a cutter. This time throws him a curveball and strikes him out. And throw that first inning out of your mind. All those base runners and all, because he's got good stuff here tonight and hopefully can maintain it.
And Desmond's the hitter, and Desmond takes a big swing and fouls it back. It's 0-1. I think the thing that you marvel about with Roy Halladay, not only his overall numbers and his presence, he has so many pitches. And we've talked about this. If one isn't working, well, he'll just go to the other ones. And then eventually goes back to the ones that weren't working.
Well, he just grinds out there. Every pitch means something to Roy Halladay. It's like watching Pete Rose hit. Every pitch, every at bat meant something to him. Halladay is that way as a pitcher. That's why he gets so fried at umpires, I think, because he has a game plan on what he's trying to do with a hitter, and he may not be planning to get the guy out with the pitch he just threw, but it was to set up something else.
How about that graphic right there? 1 earned run in 14 of his starts this year. Or less.
Now, he's really good. I think that was the reports on him when the Phillies were lucky enough to get him. Like, they're getting a really good one here. Love to see him in postseason. So would he. He would love to be in postseason. That's why he wanted to come over to the Phillies.
Well, he talked about that the other day when asked about this stretch run. He said that the anticipation of the postseason and the drive to get there, he thinks, is just going to fuel him even more as this year goes on. As Desmond gets a base hit up the middle.
How did he hit that? It looked like it was so far down and away from him. Something off speed. He's got long arms, though, Desmond.
There's another guy that's anticipating this stretch drive for the postseason.
Yeah, he has pitching in postseason, of course, in a World Series with the Houston Astros.
He has a taste of it. Roy Halladay is hoping for a big taste of it. Dunn loops one towards shallow center. Coming on Victorino. He's not going to get there. Desmond read it well, but stops at second. Back-to-back singles now for the Nationals. Put 2 aboard.
Boy, they have some funky hits here tonight. I mean, they're making contact, but that thing was right off the end of the bat. Watch where he hits this. Breaking ball right off the end of the bat. And, Victorino, that's a tough play for Shane. He throws a little deke there just in case That second, Morse came around, or Desmond came around second. That's a tough play for an outfielder when a guy like Dunn swings, because your first instinct is a freeze or break back. A lot of pitches already for Halladay because of these hits.
Walked Zimmerman his first time. In fact, it was an inning in which he walked two. First time that he's walked two batters in the first inning since 2007. Let's see where Zimmerman ranks with go-ahead RBI. That one's in the air to right. He'll stay in the yard. Worth is over, battling the wind. Under it, makes the catch. Desmond tags to go to third, and throw properly goes towards second. And there are 2 outs.
We had 1 walk or none in 20 of his 25 starts. In his last 5 starts, he had 1 walk until tonight. And as you said, Tom, he walked 2 in the first inning. Some really close pitches.
Strange as it sounds, though, if he can get Bernardina with a few pitches, he's not too far away from the 15 pitch per inning average. May have just gotten him with very few pitches. A pop-up shallow left. Rollins is over, and the side is retired. No runs, 2 loop hits, and 2 men left. We play 2.5. The Phil's offense looking to get things rolling. By Xfinity, it's TV, phone, and internet reinvented from Comcast. By Thomas Jefferson University Hospitals. Call 1-800-JEFF-NOW. And by your Quality Plus Ford stores. Bottom of the third, scoreless game. Top of the order due up for the Phillies. Jimmy Rollins, Placido Polanco, and Chase Utley. Phillies are hoping that this pattern that they're seeing from Jason Marquis, no runs through the first 2, is not a pickup from the pattern they saw down in Washington the last time these 2 teams met. During that 3-game series, the National starters went 16 2/3, allowed just 4 earned runs. And the Phillies were lucky to win one of those 3 games.
Yeah, they didn't hit that weekend. They really got shut down by Washington. Well, they get a better feel right now for what Marquis trying to do to them. Now they're second time around the lineup. They see the way he's mixing it up. Still got to hit off his sinker, though.
Jimmy grounded out his first time up. Just barely tapped the ball to the left side to Ryan Zimmerman. Pulls that one. And it's handled by Dunn. And 1 away. Well, it's your chance to own one of the one-of-a-kind Fanatic Around Town statues. It includes one that is signed by the entire 2010 team. That's right, the Fanatic Around Town auction. The online auction will take place from the 27th of August through the 30th of September. Here's some of the statues that have been around the great city of Philadelphia. Each week, a different set of statues will be auctioned off, and the proceeds will benefit Phillies charities. Go to Phillies.com for more information. Now, if you were able to get the real Fanatic in an auction, well, then that would be a pretty good coup on your part. But then you have to take everything that goes along with it.
Be very annoying.
Opposite way, backhanded by Dunn. 2 away.
Sorry, Fanatic.
He's a little disappointed not only about your comments, but also about that play.
Yeah.
He wants a little offense. That little girl is just waiting for some kind of contact. He's getting closer. Look at her smile. Fanatic, you're leaving her hanging. She's looking for a high five. Dudley takes one down low. She's going to get that high five. Line drive foul down the right field line. Look out.
Some gloves were coming up to catch that.
I thought so too.
Nobody caught it.
We need someone walking around with a tray of food.
Guy made some catch last night. Huh?
I don't know if she got her high five yet, Wheels. She's still enjoying it, though.
Not shy. She's working on it.
Now she's going to go down. She's going to. She's still looking. It's not like him to leave somebody hanging like that. He likes giving high fives. Uh-oh. He saw a bald head.
He sees some. Yeah, he's got some other things.
He's
on
got
his
some
mind
shine.
right
He's got to take care of. That is, oh boy. Two and two the count to Chase. Chase flied out to left his first time up. He's 0 for 1. The Giants, who trail the Phillies by a game in the wild card, will take on the Cardinals later on. The Cardinals are 2 games back in the wild card. Chase just trying to stay alive on that one.
Well, yeah, he threw him a sinker that time, but, you know, he got him out on changeup the last time up. So he has that in the back of his mind. So he's kind of protecting there against something like that, and then was late on a fastball.
Jason Worth waits on deck. Time is called. Jason's waiting on deck, and that youngster's really enjoying that cotton candy. Outside, ball 4. Oh, well, that youngster enjoys his cotton candy. Jason Worth is going to enjoy another trip to the box against Jason Marquis with a runner on. 2 outs here at the bottom of the 3rd. That's the second walk issued by Marquis. Jason doubled his first time up, 41 doubles. The record for doubles in a season by a Philly is Chuck Klein, who had 59 at one time. That's a lot of doubles. Off the glove of Rodriguez, but he keeps it in the territory.
Bobby Abreu with a 50.
Bobby Abreu with 50. Ed Delahunty with 56. The most for a right-handed batter, as we watch Ivan Rodriguez in action behind the plate.
He's still unbelievably quick. You know, the catcher wants to slide out and use their body to block that. He just didn't. He couldn't. He just had to reach out with his glove and try and knock it down, and he did.
Sinker in there for a strike, and it's 1-1.
That's a pitch from the drive right there. He knows it, especially with that defense they're employing. Still the left fielder Bernardino way over in the alley in left center, a little bit towards right center with Morgan.
Tries to hold up, but he went around on that breaking ball, and it's 1-2. So Marquis ahead 1-2.
Gets a little off balance there in a slider and not able to hold up.
So that defense Wheels is talking about. Chase leads off first, being held on by Dunn. It's 2-2. The record for doubles by a right-handed batter is Dick Bartell, who had 48 in 1932. That's a record for the Phillies.
A 2-2 changeup. Like Worth looked back at Pudge like 2-2 changeup. Is that what I just saw?
Yeah, I was wondering if he was looking for some kind of reaction or if Pudge said something to him.
Well, you just don't expect that with a 4-hole hitter on deck. Granted, there's 2 outs, and he had just swung and missed at a slider. Because now you think you're going to get a fastball, you're not going to talk about it. Yeah, Pudge Rodriguez is not a guy that takes his pitcher into a trap very often. This guy can call the game. He really knows what he's doing. But a 2-2 changeup with a cleanup batter on deck, and he's left-handed.
Well, Chase is going to be off and running on this pitch with the count 3-2.
Or the 5-hole hitter on deck. I mean, still like 4 or 5-hole hitter. That's. Be interesting to see where they go here. 3-2.
Chase takes off, and that pitch is in the dirt. Ball 4.
Go another one. Back-to-back changeups. It's almost like, I don't know. It's almost like they wanted Ibanez more than Worth. Granted, Worth scalded the balls last time up, and they got Ibanez to chase the changeup. But that's the way they approach that at bat.
Well, you look at Marquis' numbers, it's tough to get a temperature on how good he's been against righties and lefties this year. You have to more look at his career numbers against righties and lefties because he just hasn't had a whole lot of opportunities this year. Career-wise, lefties are a little lighter than righties against him. It doesn't really tell a whole lot of the story either. This is just a feel thing for Ivan Rodriguez. He works ahead of Raul.
Got to hit him with a first ball fastball.
Raul struck out his first time up.
That's a pitch he got him out on. He's throwing a lot of changeups.
Good numbers for Raul with runners in scoring position. They've gotten better since the All-Star break. He had a good pitch to hit, and he fouled it off into the glove of Rodriguez.
Looks like it cut a little bit. More than a cutter, more than a slider. Yeah, that was a nitro zone cutter too, right there. He just swung over it.
That one's hit hard toward first. Off the glove of Dunn into foul territory. Utley's going to score, and the Phillies have the lead. Worth is around third, being held up there. It's 1-0 Phils. Good things happen when you hit the ball hard, put it in play.
That ball pulled out of Dunn, too, it looked like. And he also had a shot at Ibanez going to second. Made sure, though, that he threw it home, and that's probably the right play with 2 outs because he throws it to second. Worth, with a full head of steam, probably could have scored. Here it is right there. Now watch Dunn. He just doesn't react very well to that. You know, he doesn't move that well anyway. Now,
well, Raul is safe and secure in second wheel. Safe and secure with New York Life.
So he had a shot at him at second, but that's the more I thought about it. It's a smart play to throw home. With 2 outs, figuring the base runner's coming hard around third, you throw to second, he could score.
Well, it's an RBI double for Ibanez. Victorino's the batter. That's outside. It's 1-0. That double for Raul is 24th of the year. 60 runs batted in now. And Shane with a base hit could give the Phils a pretty good cushion. The way the outfielders are playing. Now Morse has a very good arm in right. And Bernardina has a good arm in left.
This inning for Marquand, you know, not second guessing or anything, but they just thought it was a little strange, those change-ups to Jason Worth there with a 2-2 count. And letting Ibanez swing the bat. You hope it turns into multiple runs.
It's kind of what you said about having a feel. They just felt like Worth was the tougher hitter at that point.
I guess. Normally when you pitch a guy that way, that's what you're saying is you'd rather take the guy on deck. And if the guy at the plate gets himself out, all right.
Pop up. Left center field. Bernardina comes over as the ball slices toward him, but Morgan makes the catch and the side is retired. A run on 1 hit. 2 men left in scoring position. We've completed 3. The Phillies lead it 1-0. Far through the first 3 innings. Hey, WB Mason is the official office product supplier to the Phillies. But did you know they also sell office furniture, cleaning supplies, kitchen snacks, and Green Mountain coffee? For all your office needs, who but WB Mason? Well, we go to the 4th here in Philadelphia. And Mike Morse leads it off for the Nationals. He grounded a shortstop his first time up. Morse is going to get a chance to play a little bit more with the injury to Josh Willingham. Willingham tore the meniscus in his knee, and he's been bothered by a knee problem all year, but now has to have surgery. and he'll miss the rest of the season. On the outside corner, it's 2-1. On the Toyota Major League scoreboard, scoring some runs out in Pittsburgh. Mets lead the Pirates 5-2. Chris Carter, a home run and 2 RBIs. Mike Pelfrey on the mound for the Mets in that one. Jeff Karstens for the Pirates. And a swing and a miss and a nasty curve. 2 strikeouts now for Halladay. 1 away here in the 4th. Well, Gary Matthews joins us here in the 4th. And Sarge, this is Lord Charles at its best.
Yeah, a little off-speed pitch. But again, it's this location that makes it so difficult to hit. Not the speed of the pitch most of the time. Plus that movement that he has.
Ivan Rodriguez, a base hit down the right field line. Jason Worth getting to it quickly. Rodriguez holds it first. Good job by Jason. Everything about that was good. The hustle, the stop, the spin.
Well, one of the reasons he is a 5'2" player, he plays excellent defense. And not only that, has a strong arm to boot. That's what you call keeping that Ivan Rodriguez from getting a double. Normally that'd be a double down the line, and look at the way he spins in one motion and throws it right on the bag.
So Kennedy takes one for a strike. Rodriguez now 205 hits away from 3,000 for his career.
Should be a first ballot Hall of Famer.
Outside, 1 ball and 1 strike. I think you marvel at the number of games that Rodriguez has played, the number of Gold Gloves that he's won. I mean, look at that. 14-time All-Star, 13-time Gold Glove.
Well, nice resume.
And if he sticks around, I would think he will stick around long enough to get 3,000 hits. With the exception of Rafael Palmeiro, that's probably the number that would punch anybody's ticket into the Hall.
Well, you would think, for sure. 3,000 hits. He's a catcher. On his knees quite a bit.
Well, I think that's part of it too, Sarge, is that, catchers as a whole, I mean, there's some great ones that are in the Hall of Fame. Johnny Bench, Yogi Berra.
Gary Carter has made it.
Gary Carter. But the fact that Rodriguez may be the only one to reach 3,000 hits in his career and, still have some spring in his step, and that says a lot. Well,
longevity, and he's been very consistent in the way that he hits. Had some great years in Texas, and he continues to carry on. He handles that pitching staff, and he shuts your running game down.
2,795 career hits behind Derek Jeter, just ahead of Omar Vizquel, and ahead of Alex Rodriguez and Manny Ramirez. I think the funny thing is that he was reacquired by the Rangers, and they thought, well, he's going to finish his career here last year, and that was going to be it. Well, he still wanted to play. As Marquis shows butt, takes a pitch for a strike.
Got to really be careful with Jason. He's a pitcher that can handle the bat, even though it's just a .25 that he's hitting.
He stabs at it and bunts it foul. And it's 0-2. I would think they're going to take the bunt off here with a guy that, for a pitcher, has hit the ball pretty well in his career.
Yeah, Pat Listash has actually given those signs to him. If I'm managing, however, I'm still going to try and have him bunt that ball over.
He loops it to left. Here comes Ibanez on the run. Makes the grab. Where's Rodriguez going? The throw offline. They had him doubled up. Raul just couldn't get a grip on the ball. And Rodriguez very fortunate Well, you can play all those games, have all those hits, but this game sometimes can cause you to make some poor decisions.
Yeah, he probably thought that ball was going to fall in, but Ibanez had a bead on it the whole way. Just couldn't get it out of his glove is the only reason that he didn't double him up, although you got to throw that ball to the bag. But he's trying to do that in one motion. See how he comes in now. There's that little trouble there, and he tries to get it out to no avail.
Now Nigel Morgan is trying to slap his way onto first and maybe drive in a run in the same with the same swing. Kennedy's at first, Rodriguez is at second.
Pretty good pitch there. Call that on the back door because it's on the outside part of the plate.
Little looper on one hop. Jimmy's got it. Throws to second the short way. Side is retired. Roy Halladay strands a couple more. In fact, now the Nationals have stranded 7 for the first 4 innings in tonight's game. Everything you love about the Angus burgers in a wrap at just $1.99. McDonald's, I'm loving it. And by Suzuki and the new Kazashi midsize sports sedan. Suzuki, the power of engineering. Another sold-out crowd. Phillies are on their way to their next 100 consecutive sellouts. Last night was the 100th consecutive sellout. And tonight is scheduled to be 101. We start the home fourth. It'll be Mike Sweeney, Carlos Ruiz, and Roy Halladay. Sweeney grounded out his first time up.
Still having a little trouble getting that bat hit through the zone. It almost looks like it's too heavy. A lot of times players get older. What you'll do is you'll drop down some ounces, but a lot of these guys, their ounces are low already, somewhere around 32 ounces. There's some that are 31.
Was that a difficult time in your career when you had to drop down?
Oh, no. I mean, you would do it because you weren't making contact. Start off with somewhere around 34, 35 ounces.
Well, I ask you that because sometimes, I mean, we all go through this in anything that we do. We have trouble admitting that we're getting old.
Yeah. Well, and the pitchers will let you know. And, you know, that hitter himself, because he's not able to get around on balls normally that he would be able to hit, and especially the fastball. Sweeney's always been a good fastball hitter.
Hits it towards short. Desmond to his right. And off the glove of Dunn and right on into the crowd. And Sweeney is awarded second. I think that has to be an error on Dunn. I don't think that's an error on Desmond.
Yeah, well, Dunn started looking in his glove as if it had a hole in it. The problem was a high throw, as it just hits the tip of his glove, but a play a major leaguer should obviously make. He catches that, good for him, and he actually throws that ball, had something on it. It started to rise. You know, I mean, that error could be either way. Pretty high throw.
Well, they've given the error to Dunn. Desmond this year has made 27 errors over at shortstop. Dunn now with 8 errors at first. And the Nationals as a team have committed 96 errors. And Carlos bends back on that first pitch. That's interesting, though, Sarge. Just look at that replay. You said that ball ran a little bit.
Oh, yeah.
It did. It jumped.
That's why, for me, I thought that should have been probably a throwing error.
In the air, down the left field line. Hooking foul.
Oh, boy, I'll tell you, he turned on that. Well, take a longer look at this error here. You see, he kind of gets underneath it. Now that ball starts to rise, and Dunn is a pretty tall player. Now, if he catches that ball, he's got to come off of the bag to catch that, and it appeared that it might have been off there anyway.
Yeah, Dunn is 6'6", and that throw was, that throw was up there. I think your point is very well taken, that he was coming off the bag even to grab the throw.
Yeah.
Would have had to step back down in time to get Sweeney.
Yeah, I don't think he would have been able to do that.
2-1 the count to Ruiz, and he lays off. So in essence, he was pulled off the bag.
Exactly.
Anyway.
So I mean, if he catches it, what he will do though is prevent Sweeney from being at second base.
Good hitters count for a red hot hitter.
I'll tell you, Jason's getting all the pitches called there, borderline pitches, inside, low.
Well, they've just changed the error, Sarge, to E6.
Well, that's the way it should have been, as long as they get it right.
Left center field, Bernardina into the alleyway, makes the catch. And one away. Well, this Monday, the Houston Astros will be part of the final series of this homestand for the Phils. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. You can get your tickets for the ball games coming up by going to Phillies.com. Now, Tuesday's game's already sold out. There are seats available for Thursday's game and plenty of tickets available for Monday night's game and Wednesday's game. And ironically, Monday will feature former Phil Brett Myers, and Wednesday will feature former Phil Jay Happ on the hill for the Astros.
Looking forward to that. I'm sure those guys are too. Brett has a problem when he gets amped up, likes to throw a little bit too hard, or maybe more fastballs than normal.
Halliday's not bunting. Hits that one fair. And Zimmerman's throw offline, and it allows Sweeney to go over to third. So in essence, it was like a bunt for Halladay. He did get Sweeney over to third. There are 2 outs.
Sweeney reading that ball. Anytime you have a third baseman that comes in to retrieve the ball, if you're on second, you can get there to third base. I'll take a look at it, and 2 good things on that. Now he throws that ball there. You can see how he comes across that line, and he kind of lollipops that ball over there just to get it in the area. You got to like making sure Halladay just runs straight. Don't try and get out of the way. That's how you get hurt.
Oh, with 2 outs? A little late on the shoulders of Jimmy Rollins, who's 0 for 2.
Greg Zimmerman, one of the best in the business in terms of soft hands and being able to throw the ball, even though he throws his little kind of almost underhand.
Well, we were talking about him before, Sarge, and how he's had trouble with throws this year, that he, for some reason, has changed from an over-the-top thrower to a down-under thrower. Now, the last throw was over the top out of necessity, but they said that he's had some issues with his throws, and I think a lot of ball players go through that.
Well, they do, especially if you're at third base, it should be coming over the top. You know, when you throw it from the side, it'll have a tendency to either cut on you or maybe rise on you. Zimmerman, though, however, smart because he threw the ball kind of soft to not throw that ball away. You know, you throw that ball hard, could be able to get over Dunn's head.
In the dirt, blocked by Rodriguez.
One of the pitchers in the league that just does not like to throw strikes.
Well, because of it, he has built 6 3-ball counts.
There you go.
And ball 4. J rolls aboard. That puts runners on first and third. Jim Riggleman's going out to the mound to talk to Jason Marquis.
I bet he's got to tell him, hey, you got to start to pound that zone there. The walks will get you into trouble. 75 pitches already.
Hey, reminder that tonight on Sports Night you can get highlights and analysis of this ball game, plus a breakdown of the Eagles' preseason matchup against Ocho Cinco and the Bengals. All this and more tonight at 10 on Toyota Sports Night right here on Comcast Sportsnet. Longo 0 for 1 tonight with a walk. Came into the game in the top 5 in hitting in the league. But he's 0 for his last 10. He's looking to break that slide right here.
Well, I think that Albert Pujols is close. One of the few times you might be able to see a player win the Triple Crown, which would be the average, RBIs, and the home run. I think he's leading there in RBIs and the home runs. Or close to it.
He's tied with Adam Dunn right now in the homers. And he is leading in RBIs. And Pujols is 5th in batting average.
He's got an outside shot. I mean, he's got one of the things he has going for him is going to be that pennant drive, because that gets you a little extra adrenaline flow.
1-0 the count to Polanco, and a step to third and a look to first by Marquis. The other thing Pujols has to contend with is Joey Votto, who leads the league in average, 3rd in home runs, and Votto is 2nd in runs batted in.
Well, he has a shot at it too. He's had just a great year this year for the Cincinnati Reds. They'll be talking about him for MVP consideration, especially if the Reds end up winning.
Jimmy takes off, pitch is taken inside, the throw to second a little high, and Jimmy has stolen another bag. 30 consecutive steals for J-Roll.
It's an excellent jump. See, Ivan Rodriguez, he takes a lot of pride in being able to throw that ball there. And he didn't even take a look at third base. That's trying to get J-Roll all the way. You know, usually that catcher takes a look over at third base to see if the runner's going to go, but knowing Sweeney doesn't have good speed, he didn't even have to look.
Toward left, Bernardina's right there, and the side is retired. No runs, no hits. There was one Nationals error. The Phillies strand 2 more We go to the 5th. Ian Desmond is set to lead it off. Well, the Phillies have stranded 7. The Nationals have stranded 7. But the Phillies lead it 1-0 as we go to the top of the 5th. Roy Halladay has not retired the Nationals in order just yet. Don't forget, every time the Phillies retire the opposing team in order, Comcast will make a contribution to Phillies charities. Phillies baseball is brought to you by the Xfinity Triple Play, your complete lineup for digital TV, high-speed internet, and home phone. Ian Desmond leads it off, and Halladay evens up the count with a fastball, and it's 1-1. Desmond 1 for 2.
That open stance that he has. Very difficult to hit that pitch, which is on the inside part of the plate. Shouldn't need any help on the strike. It's what makes it tough there for Halladay, because you establish a strike and you're not getting that pitch called there.
Ruiz will give this a look over toward the Phillies dugout, but he runs out of room. And it remains even 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Now, when you have that open stance, you primarily are looking for the ball on the outside part of the plate. Well, that would be your bread and butter, or right over the plate. But that one that's inside and that's thrown in the 90s there, very difficult for that hitter to get around on it.
Trying to check his swing. He went around, says Phil Cuzzy. 1 away here in the 5th.
Well, struck him out twice. He's probably a little angry that he did not check swing, but, you know, for me, he got more strikes than you normally should get when you're at the plate. Take a look at it. You know, and again, every time you look at him, you can call it one way or the other. It wasn't blatant.
Up the first base line, it's fair ball. Easy room service hop for Mike Sweeney. 2 outs. Desmond still stewing. He at least wanted Phil Cuzzy to ask for some help.
All those young players that start to complain, you know, they get those tough pitches called on them. They'll start to get it time and time again.
Halladay tonight 4 2/3, which gives him 197 2/3 innings. So he is going to be, if things go according to plan, the first pitcher in the big leagues to 200 innings this year.
He's a workhorse, to say the least. No, doesn't miss his turns in pitching. Usually goes pretty deep in the game. And more importantly, he gives your team a chance to win.
Breaking ball pulled right through the hole on the left side. And Zimmerman has a 2-out single. First hit of the night for Zimmerman. Second time he's been aboard. And it's the 6th hit overall for the Nationals.
That ball up just a little bit. He was able to handle either that cutter or the slider.
Now Bernardino, who has one of the biggest at-bats of the game for Halladay, a 4-6-3 double play his first time up.
Oh, boy. I mean, that's exactly what the doctor ordered, and that's exactly what Doc got. He's a pretty fast runner, too, so the ball had to be hit firmly hard. I got to tell you, it doesn't seem or appear that he likes the corners tonight. Either in or out, the pitcher's got to be able to get one of those. This was in that first inning, trying to pull that outside pitch there. 4-6-3 double play. Third inning there as he pops the ball up to J-Rowe.
So Bernardino has stranded 4 runners so far against Halladay. And Roy's got the count even, 2 balls and 2 strikes. A lot of times a veteran pitcher like Halladay can feast on the youthfulness of a guy like Bernardino. And he just feasted on him right there. He exploded his bat. How about that? Right to Sweeney, who comes up to charge it and apply the tag, and the side is retired. That bat was obliterated because Halladay threw that cutter right in on the hands to finish off this 5th. No runs, 1 hit, 1 man left, and Chase Utley is due to lead things off. About the games against the teams with less than 500 records coming up, well, 3 against the Brewers, all part of that schedule that we discussed. The 3rd, the 4th, and the 5th. The 5th at 1:35, the IBEW Local 98 Jimmy Rollins T-shirt, free to fans 14 and under. Get your tickets by going to Phillies.com. Last of the fifth. Chase Utley leads it off. Chase flied out to left his first time up, walked and scored the game's only run. He takes a fastball at the knees, and it's 0-1. Phillies have stranded 7. The Nationals have stranded 8. Doesn't feel like a pitcher's duel, Sarge, but it seems like it's settling into be one.
Yeah, well, that score is 1-0. Fighting Phil's leading. Had Jason Marquise there on the ropes a few times. He's been able to come up with pitches to get out of them.
Chase out in front. Zimmerman gives it a look, and it remains 0-2. Jason Marquis, back in 1991, nearly accomplished something that every little kid wants to accomplish. And that is win the Little League World Championship in Williamsport. His team from Staten Island lost to a team from California in the United States final. And then eventually beat Canada to win 3rd place at Williamsport. And we mention that because the Little League World Series got underway in Williamsport today. And there have been only 31 major leaguers who have participated in the Little League World Series in Williamsport.
That's unbelievable. Since there's so many major league players that play Little League, or have played it, I should say.
Well, Chase Utley's Long Beach team, the year he was in his final year in Little League, they missed out by 1 game from going to Williamsport. Then that same team went the next 2 years and featured Sean Burroughs, who is one of the 31 who made it to the majors. And that team was managed by his dad, Jeff Burroughs, who's one of your contemporaries.
Yep, one of my teammates as well. Yep. Oh, his son Sean, though, I remember him playing in that series. They couldn't get him out. And I think he also pitched.
He did pitch.
His major league career, they thought he was going to be a little bit better, but he was one of those players that was good and never got really better. He just almost stayed the same.
3-2 the count to Chase. He lines one to right. That's a base hit. Chase is aboard and leadoff single.
That's what you almost have to do, is to wait him out in order to get a strike. He doesn't usually throw early strikes. See that bullpen there, getting ready to get started. Jim Lett, bullpen coach. There's a fastball that was just whacked in the right field. Notice he kept that hand on the bat a little bit longer that time. That hand's been coming off of the bat.
Well, Joel Peralta is going to start to loosen up in the pen for the Nationals. Here's Jason Worth. And he takes a pitch low and away. It's 1-0. By the way, the Little League World Series begins in Williamsport. We want to wish the team from Toms River, New Jersey,
okay,
best of luck as they will be participating. They beat out a team from Newtown, Pennsylvania, to go to Williamsport.
It's quite an honor for any of the Little Leaguers to get there.
Little number foul, and it's 1-1. On the Toyota Major League scoreboard, the Giants have taken a 2-0 lead over the Cards. Buster Posey, a double and an RBI. I'm not sure if those two were saying hip hip hooray to that score, but they're having a good time.
Tell you that Posey continues to make an assault on that Rookie of the Year. And he's just a solid hitter. I mean, seeing him here in the games that he played, stays up the middle on hits, can hit the ball out of the ballpark, and he's catching. Should give him an added edge for me.
Over toward the left side, Zimmerman's got it. There's one. That's all they'll get. Jason saved the first. 5-4 on the put out at second.
They expect Jason maybe to try and run in this situation, hopefully early in the count. The earlier the better.
Sorry, well, what are your thoughts on why Jason is not running as much? You know, he's got 8 stolen bases. It's not bad, but
maybe legs maybe not feeling very well. Maybe just not able to get the jump the way that he normally does. They're paying attention to him a lot more.
Yeah, because a lot of times, you know, when he was, you know, when he stole 20 bases the last couple of years, maybe he surprised some folks with his speed because he can run.
Oh no, he is a 5'2" player, and you're right, he can still. You know, and they'll get the times. Davey will give it to him, and then it's up to that base runner to, as he's talking to him, to get the jump. You know, and he'll be stern about it or ask the player, hey, why are you still here?
There he goes. Outside, the throw to second on one hop, out at second base. Pretty good play by Desmond to scoop that ball up right in the base path.
Yeah, I thought right away, too, Ivan Rodriguez really concentrated on trying to get that ball down, and he did. Thought Jason had a pretty good jump. Let's see there, and he does. Check out the throw there and see if he does get bang, bang. Pretty close again.
Jason's been caught 3 times now. Trying to get to 20 stolen bases for a 3rd straight year. And a swing and a miss. It's 2-2.
Well, he doesn't throw very hard. Saw that fastball at 88. Hitting wise, though, just doesn't consistently throw a lot of strikes.
He rolled over on that one to the right side. Dunn flips to Marquis covering, and he just gets to the bag before Ibanez. And the side is retired. No runs, 1 hit, nobody left for the Phils. We've completed 5 here in Philadelphia. Phillies still hanging on to a 1-run lead. Defending National League champions. It's one thing to be a proud Philadelphia Phillies fan. It's a whole other level to fill up the ballpark every single game. Your loyalty is remarkable, and it's brought to you by Independence Blue Cross. We're here for you every step of the way. Oh, top of the 6th here in Citizens Bank Park. Phillies lead it 1-0. The fans who have been so great, 101 consecutive sellouts. Mike Morse leads it off, and he takes a breaking ball for a strike. Roy Halladay has struck out 3. Talked to David Montgomery, the Phillies president, last night, just about the standing room only areas here at the ballpark. And of course, Ashburn Alley is one of those great locations. Kind of looks like you're walking along the boardwalk in Ocean City, or in Wildwood or Point Pleasant. And it's so neat to just see all the people just wandering around out there, Sarge.
Continually. Well, they support this team, and for good reason. Great players. They give you that effort 100% every single time out. There's something to say about a ball club that plays hard for 27 outs.
Left center field. It's carrying pretty well. Victorino's got a beat on it, and he makes the catch.
I tell you, this kid just missed from hitting that ball out of the ballpark, and that was on the end of the bat, and a pretty good pitch as he goes down to get it. But take a look at this, and this is not a bad pitch at all. As it goes down, you see how he just reaches for it? You might want to try and get a little bit closer to the plate. Good pitch, though, by Doc.
Well, now 1 away. Here's Ivan Rodriguez. He singled his last time up, reached on an error by Jimmy Rollins his first time up. And there's a strike at the knees. Foot of Rodriguez. 1-2. Well, it's a sold out crowd here tonight, and there's a sold out crowd and more down in Lakewood, where tonight Ryan Howard began his rehab assignment and had his number 29 retired and became the RBI leader all time in Lakewood franchise history with 92. Wow. Because he had an RBI double in one of his at bats as Halladay strikes out Rodriguez looking. 4th strikeout. There are 2 away, and he's saying something to Phil Cuzzy. So congratulations to Ryan. And that RBI double that Howard picked up tonight not only gave him 92 RBIs as a Blue Claw, but it also broke up Chad James's no-hitter in the bottom of the 6th inning.
Man, that's happening in the minor leagues. That disease is all over the place there.
How about Chad James calls home and says, yeah, I threw a 1-hitter tonight. Oh, really? Yeah, the only hit was by Ryan Howard. What'd you get called up? No.
Oh, boy.
Here's Adam Kennedy. And it's 1 ball and 1 strike to Kennedy. Well, congratulations to Ryan. Pretty nice honor to have your number retired.
Yeah. More importantly, too, breaking up that no-hitter. Now, could you imagine, though, going down there and you're in a Lakewood 8-ball game and then you end up getting a no-hitter thrown against you?
Guys in the clubhouse make fun of you think?
Oh, boy.
Kennedy serves it the opposite way. If it's fair, it's extra bases. That's a fair ball. Played well by Ibanez. And his throw to second a little late. And Kennedy has his 2nd hit of the night.
He goes that way all the way. Look at that effort there to hit the ball the opposite way. Those guys that like to do that, you want to pitch them inside. He caught a fastball and see right there, almost right on the line where the ball landed. Really no chance for Ibanez there to get Kennedy.
Well, with a runner in scoring position, Jim Riggleman's not going to waste this opportunity. He's going to send Kevin Mensch up to the plate as a pinch hitter. Kevin Mensch, the former University of Delaware star, played 3 years as a Blue Hen. 1 for 9 in the minor leagues. And here's Jason Marquis, whose night is done. Marquis lowered his earned run average from 14.33 tonight to 11.39. And Mensch takes a pitch for a strike.
Yeah, well, all in all, he pitched a decent ball game. Thought the guys could have scored a few more runs off of him, but just did not happen. This is the club, however, you don't want to stay close to. Bad things can happen when you do.
See Marquis, 5 innings, 4 hits and a run. First time in 6 starts this year that he has gone 5 innings. Talking to Ivan Hernandez. One and one, the count to bench. Swing and a miss. Look out. That one flying, got stuck right into the netting.
And that will happen on an off-speed pitch as it gets out in front. Woo! As that just flies through.
Rick Eckstein went flying, even though the netting was there. He still didn't want to take any chances.
Yeah, well, by the time he moved, though, that bat would have been all over him. You just don't know what direction to run it. You just know you want to go somewhere.
One and two, the count to bench. Try to check his swing. And it's 2-2. Kevin Bench with 89 home runs in the majors. It's a pretty good seasons.
Always difficult for major league players that feel they can hit in the major leagues but find themselves in the minor leagues trying to fight their way back up.
We spent the last 2 years in Japan. We're trying to play ball in Japan. Let's see his career numbers. Not too bad. Got him. Breaking ball, cut out and missed. Mensch is down on strikes, and Halladay strands another one. He has stranded 9 base runners through 6 innings tonight. No runs, 1 hit, 1 man left, and 2 strikeouts, including that one to Kevin Mensch. Financing at your Honda dealer. Buy Southwest Airlines. Go to southwest.com. Grab your bag. It's on. Buy Coca-Cola, the official soft drink of the Phillies. And buy Toyota. There are many reasons to buy a Toyota. And now's the perfect time to get yours during Toyota's National Clearance Event. Well, inside the Phillies dugout, they're going to sit and watch as the offense goes back to work here in the bottom of the 6th inning. And Joel Peralta, 23rd ball game for Peralta. 2.70 earned run average. He'll take over from Marquis, who went 5 innings, allowed 4 hits and a run. Walked 4, struck out 1. And he stranded 7 through 5 innings of work. It'll be Victorino, Mike Sweeney, and Carlos Ruiz for the Phillies. And a breaking ball in there for a strike. Has been very useful for the Nationals so far this year, just by his numbers alone. I mean, this is a Nationals bullpen that's really been revamped since last season and even during the course of this season. He'll be back into the seats. Rodriguez gives it a look, and it's 1 ball and 2 strikes.
They're still, rebuilding type situation. One of the reasons why everybody thought that they were going to trade their first baseman, Adam Dunn, and try and get more younger players. One of their best players will be pitching tomorrow in Strasburg. I'm sure the guys will be up for him, but they got to be nice to get this one under the belt. Remember that. First game of the series, always the most important.
Kyle Kendrick is going to match up against Steven Strasburg tomorrow. Kyle's looking at where that foul ball just landed off the bat of Victorino. He's pitched pretty well for the Phillies and pitched well on Sunday night against the Mets. Now, we talked about this a little bit, but as a hitter, how much would you have looked forward to this matchup against Strasburg?
Oh, I'm getting here early. Oh, yeah. I mean, hardly not even able to sleep at night just for the anticipation of seeing them. Same way that we felt against Doc Gooden. But the fact remains now, after you have seen him and he pitches maybe the way they think that he should, which means striking out batters and so on, it's the other way around. Now you start to have nightmares if you think you're going to face the guy because of the way that he throws. So they're looking forward to it. I'm almost positive of that.
Victorino pulls a foul, and it remains 2-2. Katie knocked it down, and now she'll make a young fan happy with that souvenir. I wondered about that too, Sarge, because sometimes when you have the expectations of facing a Strasburg, you kind of get lulled into his world the first time around.
Well, I mean, as a veteran player, again, you're trying to make sure that he understands this is the major leagues. So you're not going to be able to get away with some of the pitches normally that you would in college or in the minor leagues.
Torino turns on one, turns it foul.
No, it's not going to be an easy task, and I'm sure they've been talking about, the Phillies and the rivalry that they do have with Washington, because this team plays them hard and they feel that they can beat them, even though they've done pretty good. The fighting fields against them, it's still, you got to go out there and play that game and play it hard.
Well, Strasburg has faced the Braves this year, but I would think that for him, anytime he comes to a new ballpark, there's a little bit of a boost. He seems pretty level-headed just from listening to him, but also facing the two-time defending National League champions.
Well, he'll be up and have butterflies, I would think, for sure. But he's been used to big crowds because he's been pitching under them.
Victorino lifts it to right center field. Morgan flies, and he flew right over there to make that catch.
He made it look easy. Thought that ball had a chance to get in.
Well, here's Strasburg's debut, his major league debut on the 8th of June. After spending the first half of the year down in the minors, he gets a chance to face the Pittsburgh Pirates. He was dealing. Village went fishing after that pitch. 100 miles an hour. Now, Delwyn Young strikes out there, but he also hit a home run in the ball game against Strasburg. A tip of the cap and a pie at the end of the the game, and his major league debut was a success.
Yeah, well, you saw that movement on those pitchers, so you want to make them get that ball down if you can. And he has a pretty good breaking ball. We weren't able to see that. Mostly fastballs that he was throwing and the changeup. But he has a good curveball that he'll be throwing to the right-handers. Maybe not as much, because Ivan Rodriguez was calling a lot of breaking balls, off-speed pitches, as opposed to letting him work off of that fastball.
2-0 the count to Sweeney. There's Strasburg charting. I have to admit, I mean, you don't see that often anymore, Sarge, where a pitcher will chart. Now, you see in the minor leagues, usually the pitcher who's pitching the next day will sit behind home plate and chart. You don't see it that much in the big leagues.
Yeah, and really in the minor leagues, they've kind of stopped that because you had players putting up higher velocities on their friends that were pitching that particular night.
No kidding.
Oh, absolutely. So they've been stopping that. All of a sudden, there's a rope right down the line that going foul. All of a sudden, you have a guy that was throwing 90-91, and then on the charts, you're throwing 94-95.
I didn't think that. I thought you were going to tell me that they stopped doing that because guys like Strasburg, who's a #1 pick, was probably getting hounded for autographs and couldn't chart anymore.
Oh, no. They go through their lesson from charting, and they usually, after you pitch, the next day they have the pitcher with the bucket putting balls that the guys hit there. But they now pay the bat boys to do that job. Don't quite know where Phil Cuzzy's strike zone is tonight. Makes it difficult for not only the pitcher, but also the hitter, just not knowing where to throw the ball.
Sweeney pops it foul. You know, last time we were talking to David Montgomery about the young kids who were coming to the ballpark, not only the teenagers, the college kids, but also the real young kids. And how about Grandpa catching the ball and handing it off to, boy, look at that smile.
Pure joy.
That is a great reaction right there.
Boy.
Nice catch. That's awesome. Smiles everywhere. That went off the foot of Sweeney. That has to hurt. They're chatting about it. Now, if there's another one that comes over here, let me catch it and I'll give it to you.
Yeah, well, I tell you, those you'd like to hope that they would catch it. That ball is spinning, as you know, when it comes in. And he's getting a good pat on the back.
There you go, Pop. Take a look at it. Everybody around him smiling. It was pretty impressive.
Used to get high fives from everybody.
Sweeney pops it up. Pretty good battle. There's a fly ball to short right. Kennedy gives way to Morse. He almost boxed it, but he makes the catch. There are 2 outs. Well, phones are ringing.
Oh, boy. He has his phone going on.
Well,
saying, hey, we just saw you on television. Good shot.
Soaking it all in. Turn, son. Turn and smile. Turn toward the field.
This is why you have the fans that you do when you start them off as young as they are.
That lady's phone just rang, and they said, hey, you're on TV too. Right in the coattails of that catch.
Oh, yeah.
Here's Carlos, who's 1 for 2. Carlos singled back to the second, and he flied out, lined out to left in the 4th. good location right there on that pitch. On the Toyota Major League scoreboard, the Blue Jays, a couple touchdowns, shutting out the Red Sox 14-0. That game's at the top of the sixth. Lyle Overbay, a couple home runs, 6 RBIs. Well, that pep talk you had with Cito Gaston seemed to work. So
I'd say weeks worth of RBIs there.
John Lester allowed 9 runs on 8 hits in 2+ innings for the Sox.
Where is he gone as a pitcher? He's one of those guys that has a no-hitter, or has thrown a no-hitter. Not this year, but in his career. Hard thrower, left-hander.
Louise pops it up. Shallow right center field. Morgan comes on. So does Morris. The wind took it back toward Morris, and he makes the catch. And the side is retired. 1, 2, 3 go the Phils here in the bottom of the 6th. We've completed 6. Little celebration going on here at the ballpark with the Phils leading at 1-0.
Verizon Wireless Game Summary. One of the things we talked about, keys of the game, is how many close games these two teams play. And here we go again. A lot of left on base for both clubs tonight. Nats 9, Phillies 7. 1-0 ball game as Roy Halladay has managed to strand 9 Washington Nationals through the 6th inning. Phillies with just a 1-run. And Halladay, here he goes into the 7th.
And against the top of the order, Nyjer Morgan takes a sinker low. It's 1-0. Halladay's thrown 99 pitches tonight. Morgan's 1 for 3 already. He doubled his first time up. A little flare to left.
It would keep him on base because it's like a double if he gets on. He could steal.
You see the pitches by inning for Halladay. He hasn't really had an easy inning. I guess the second inning was the closest he's had to an easy inning.
Yeah, a lot of base runners, bloop hits, some seeing eye hits, a few balls hit hard, but not many. But a lot of base runners.
2-2 the count. Morgan showed bunt. And wondered if that ball was at the knees.
Yeah, if he thought that was a strike, he may have bunted at it. He thought it was a ball, so he was going to take it and be 3-1.
That's 3-2.
I'd like to get Halladay through this inning, and then they could hit for him. And then go to the bullpen, hopefully with a lead.
There's Ian Desmond waiting on deck. Adam Dunn behind him. Over to first base. Mike Sweeney waits for it. It's a big out. One away.
Well, that cutter is some weapon right there for left-handed hitters.
Well, these lucky fans are tonight's Citizens 7. They will each receive a prize pack courtesy of Citizens Bank. Citizens Bank with the most 7-day branches in the Philadelphia area. To find a branch near you, visit citizensbank.com.
Just run that in on their hands there on a 3-2 count. You know, guys thinking fastball anyway, sees fastball, swings at it, and by the time he hits it, ouch.
He's having a tough time controlling that early in the game. He just went right after Desmond on that pitch, and it's 0-1.
Yeah, that's 93. That looked like it was a sinker. It didn't sink a whole lot, but it looked like he doesn't throw that many four-seam fastballs.
He bunts toward third. Polanco was way back. Bare hands, throws off balance, not in time. It was a smart play by Desmond with Polanco back at third.
Hey, you don't expect that there, that's for sure. You don't think that guy is going to bunt for a base hit. And it's a good one, too. You know, it's bunted kind of hard, but as Tom said, Polanco's way back, and he has to come a long way for that. And Sweeney tries to give him a shot, but he beat that easily.
Second hit of the night for Desmond.
That's the fourth time he's bunted for a hit this year. He's tried it 15 times. So, you know, that's one of those things that is not, you know, on the scouting reports is not a huge surprise.
He must have just glanced over and saw Polanco was back and figured, all right, well, he's back far enough that if I can get it out there, he's not going to throw me out.
Well, it accomplishes a lot, too. I mean, it gets Dunn and Zimmerman, maybe Zimmerman up 2 in this inning in a one-run game, and also gives Dunn the hole to shoot at on the first base side.
High, and it's 3-1. Adam Dunn is tied for the league lead in home runs, tied with Albert Pujols with 31.
Dunn's not a guy that grounds into a lot of double plays. There's Zimmerman, because he doesn't hit that many ground balls. He's a fly ball, walk or strike out kind of guy, and he has grounded into 5, but that's not a whole lot, you know, we think, for a big power hitter.
And he has struck out 151 times this year. The runner goes, pitch is taken outside, ball 4. Their runners on first and second.
Well, they really played aggressively there. You figure they start the runner with a guy that struck out 151 times. But I guess they figured Halladay was going to go to something off speed there to try and get Dunn out, and they could run, and they did.
Well, Contreras now will start to loosen in the pen. 3 walks by Halladay. That ties his season high. He walked 3 back on the 6th of May against St. Louis. He walked 3 the entire month of July. And he's outside with the first pitch to Zimmerman. Zimmerman tonight is 1 for 2. He's walked and he is singled. And he hits one foul. .115. As we mentioned, Halladay is due to lead off the bottom of the 7th.
Well, Zimmerman has grounded into 12 double plays. He's a guy that will hit the ball on the ground a lot more than Dunn.
Desmond goes. Pitch is lined to left field. Ibanez has got it, and Desmond's going to be doubled up. The throw is wide. Utley has it, and he gets him. He just stayed on him and tracked him down and slapped the tag, and the side is retired. Pretty athletic play on both ends. Desmond to avoid the initial tag, and Utley to finally find Desmond. The double play gets Roy Halladay out of trouble as we go to the bottom of the 7th. Pitcher won the second game of the doubleheader, his first major league win after Jim Bunning's perfect game on Father's Day in '64.
That would be that Richard Charles Rick Wise.
You would be correct. Log back on to Phillies.com to find out if you're the winner of a Phillies prize pack. Thanks for playing Dodge Stump the Fans.
People don't remember back then. What is an 18-year-old doing on that team at that time? Well, it was something comparable to a Rule 5 then. There wasn't such a thing. But they had to keep him or risk losing Rick. Someone would have to do a bunch of research on that on why. But that's the reason why an 18-year-old was up at that point and got the start in that game.
Pretty impressive with all the euphoria after a perfect game to be able to pick up a win.
I think he won like 6-1 or 7-1, and they scored some runs in that second game.
Dominic Brown pinch hits for Roy Halladay.
Probably way off in the score now. I'm going to stop while I'm ahead.
Well, you did preface it by saying somebody's going to need to do some research.
Yeah, but there was a reason why he was had to be on the club at the time, because they were fighting for a pennant. Even though it was only June, they're thinking about winning that year, and they got to carry an 18-year-old.
1-1 the count to Dominic Brown. And out in front of an off-speed pitch, it's 1-2.
Tough roll right here. Come up, pitch hit. And you're used to playing all the time. And he did come up and hit a ball out of the ballpark the other night. This Peralta's got pretty good stuff. He's around the strike zone with a couple different pitches.
I think it says a lot that he's in with a lefty up, and a lot of lefties on the bench, and there's a lefty warming up in the bullpen for the Nationals.
Yeah, they like him.
Swing and a miss, and he gets Brown for the first out. Well, here's the play that ended the top of the 7th.
Now here's the run. The Phillies catch a real break here because he had third base stolen. Now Ibanez catches the bullet hit by Zimmerman. It's a wide throw, but Chase Utley does not give up on the play. Missed him the first time, but now he stays after him, and Desmond tries to get that hand back. Can't quite do it, even though he has some pretty long fingers reaching for that bag.
How about Mike Sweetie coming in and making the call right around the bag? He was the closest one other than Utley to the bag.
Well, you want to make sure they got it right.
Well, here's Jimmy Rollins with one away here in the bottom of the 7th. The Phillies leading at just 1-0.
But he had that bag, stolen easily. There's Sweeney, the umpire. And it's funny. And Zimmerman hit that ball so hard. Caught a break there, and you gotta have those once in a while.
Jimmy lays off the off-speed pitch, and it's 2-0.
That's a pretty good changeup. He just struck Dominic Brown out on. That was the same pitch right there to Jimmy Rollins that he just took.
Well, Phil Cuzzy hasn't called the corners, and right now it's a break for Jimmy because those are two really close pitches.
And he may give him, Charlie could give him a 3-0 green light thinking he'll look middle in. If it's not, he'll take it. Because Jimmy's very good when he looks in an area, and he can pop one. And Pudge when he just calls something away.
Jimmy takes one on the inside corner. It's 3-1.
Well, if he had a 3-0 green light and he was looking middle in, there it was. There was the pitch to drive right there.
All the cameras over Jimmy's shoulders, taking some shots of Placido Polanco and the Fanatic, and the game itself. A lot of sights to be soaked in. Jimmy pops it up, straightaway center. And Nigel Morgan doesn't have to move too far. And there are 2 outs.
Look at Zimmerman. He scalds this thing. A line smash right at Raul Ibanez. And then the throw sailed a little bit. And what a tremendous aggressive play there. See right there, he has third base stolen. He was just doing that on his own. And now it's like put the brakes on and see if I can get back. You said, Tom, those are 2 really athletic guys going right there. Because Desmond, that was some move he made to get around the tag and then almost get back.
And stay in by rule the base path.
Oh, yeah, he was fine as far as that goes.
Here's Polanco. 0 for 2 tonight with a walk. And he pops it up right side of the infield. Adam Dunn, the first baseman, heads into foul territory. And Peralta has faced 6, and he's retired all 6. And with that, he'll take the game into the 8th inning and also take the game into the Phillies bullpen. With the Phils on top 1-0. Product prices by Southwest Airlines. Want to see what a real airline is like? Go to southwest.com. Grab your bag. It's on. And buy your participating Philadelphia area Chevy dealers. Visit ChevyDealer.com. Go to the 8th. 1-0 Phillies. Just 4 hits for the Phillies, but a whole lot of base runners. As Ryan Matson will work against the 5, 6, and 7 hitters for the Nationals. Matson takes over for Roy Halladay. Halladay goes 7 innings tonight, allows 8 hits, no runs, 3 walks, and 5 strikeouts. He lowered his earned run average to 2.16 with his outing tonight.
Well, that's a perfect example. You know, a guy can't go out there. Even the great ones don't go out and dazzle every night. But the great ones put it together. And they have hang in their nights. And, you know, as I said, they had a lot of balls that just kind of blooped and things like that. It wasn't like they were out there scalding them all over the place. But when he had to, Halladay made his pitches the way he always does. Or almost always does. You know, the guy's human. But that's one of those examples of a really, really good pitcher just getting it done on a night when he probably couldn't throw it exactly where he wanted. It was maybe fighting the home plate umpire a little bit, who had a really tight zone.
Yeah, it was not giving the corners, and really wasn't giving the corners to either pitcher. And there's a leadoff base hit for Bernardino. Now he's a guy you have to also keep an eye on.
Here's Roy in the first inning when he got a huge double play through a curveball there to Bernardino. Guy can run, but he hit it pretty hard right at Chase Utley near the bag. There's a good breaking ball to Nigel Morgan, strike him out. Another breaking ball for a strikeout. Ran a fastball back there, and a breaking ball there to pitch hitter Kevin Metz. Good curveball. And Roy Halladay does like to go to his curveball a lot for strikeouts.
Well, there's his line from tonight.
And he even had a balk thrown in.
Yeah. First balk since, what was it, 2005 we said?
Yeah, something like that. A total of 8 in his long, I think how many innings a guy's pitched.
A lot of folks are talking about Cy Young Award candidates, and it's probably too early to worry about that. But there's no doubt that Roy Halladay's name has to be in the mix for that. 0-1 the count to Mike Morse.
As you said, you got to pay attention now to Bernardino at first. He's getting a good lead.
Good lead back toward first on that pitch.
Yeah, he was fooled a little bit by Matson.
Bernardino has stolen 9 bases this year. He's been caught twice.
See right here, he has a one-way lead, and whatever Matson did, it fooled him a little bit, and he thought he better go back.
Stole as many as 40 bases 1 year in the minors. They try to change up, and it's 1-2. Runner goes. Pitch is hit back toward the middle. Utley's got it. Applies the tag. No, he missed him. Throws to first in time to get Morse. How about if he would have made that play? He nearly got him.
Well, the runner going got the guys going towards the bag, too, the infielders. And they almost got a spectacular double play. Right there, Chase Utley grabs it and just
like
misses him.
Yeah. I thought he may have gotten him.
Well, he didn't argue. That's a heck of a play, though, he makes to get the hitter Morse. Couldn't tell unless you get a side angle on that, but he didn't argue that he touched him. Of course, he doesn't argue anyway.
No.
He and Jimmy Rollins really don't say a whole lot on plays. That's what Charlie says. I don't know when to come out.
Well, here's Rodriguez. Rodriguez 1 for 3. Reached on an error, singled, and struck out looking, and wasn't happy about it. And he fouls the first pitch off.
Oh, he fires a lot of balls to right and right center. See if he can get a better look. Boy, he's so close to tag. What a great play on that short hop.
Right? Yeah, I can't tell if he got him or not.
Yeah, I mean, he's in the area. But then he had the presence of mind to get something on that throw and get this runner or the batter. Well, they really have something going. See how Pudge fights balls off, you know. He's always been an opposite field hitter, but especially at this point in his career, unless you're throwing something really slow to speed his bat up. And they're playing him that way. You know, they're so close together out there, Victorino and Worth right now in right center, trying to take that area away from Pudge Rodriguez. See how close those two are? Giving him, they give him the line in left and left center.
Good play by Carlos to block that on one hop. 1-2 the count to Rodriguez. He's had himself a good year. He's been on the disabled list. Came off just when Steven Strasburg made his major league debut.
Good player to have around to help a young pitching staff.
Bernardino leads off second. On the hands, a looper foul right past Dan Radisson.
They jam. They try to go in there and jam him and make it even harder for him to go the other way. But he'll try to inside out fight the ball off in there.
He figured he was looking in, he'd go out.
Well, he threw him. I think he threw him a changeup. And it wasn't a changeup of Madsen's. It kind of dives down. That thing, I don't know what it did. It wasn't a good one. It wasn't his good one, but maybe, as you said, they made him so aware inside. Maybe he would chase.
Quick meeting between Carlos and Madsen. Here's that last pitch.
Which is not the way. That's why I wasn't even sure. Yeah, it's a changeup. And you see it was way outside. It started to dive there at the end, but his changeup normally is near the plate.
Madsen looks back at second, then at Rodriguez, and a swing and a miss. He got him on another changeup. This one way better.
Yeah. See, that one was on the plate the whole time. Rodriguez sees it on the plate, but doesn't pick up its changeup and swings at it. Whereas the other one wasn't on the plate, so he didn't swing it. See, that thing's on the plate the whole time. And then, shoot, as they say in the submarines, auga, down she goes.
Don't they put a little bit more into it, though?
Yeah, well, I don't want to do that.
Well, Wheels, if you're going to get the analogy, you got to do it like auga.
You know what I meant.
Well, now a meeting between Ruiz, Jimmy Rollins, Ryan Madsen. Polanco's there, too.
Well, they know they're going to get Willie Harris next as a pinch hitter. They just want to make sure they're on the same page now what they want to do with Kennedy.
And Charlie decides to stay with Madsen, his eighth inning guy, instead of going to left-hander J.C. Romero. Ryan Madsen's been so good for the Phillies.
Well, he has such an ability to get left-handed hitters out with that changeup. You just want to stay away from cutters or left-handed hitters, I think, in these type of potential game-winning situations. Because that pitch comes down and in. If you miss, boom, home run or chance for a home run.
Kennedy watches that one go in for a strike, and it's 0-1.
What do I know? He just threw one. You see where that thing was?
I thought it was a ball.
Oh, it was in a nitro zone.
Well, but I thought that the way Phil Cuzzy's strike zone has been tonight, that it was going to be a ball. That was a better pitch.
That was a little running fastball that he started at him. I think they were trying to throw a backdoor cutter on that first pitch, the way Chooch was set up, and he missed with it, got away with it because Kennedy took it.
0-2 the count. Kennedy tonight, couple of hits and 3 at-bats. Well, Bernardino off second, the 0-2 pitch. Upstairs, went with a 96-mile-an-hour four-seamer.
Well, he does have a good. When he cuts a four-seamer loose, he really can throw hard. That's why Ryan Madsen can be so effective with a changeup, because the difference in velocity is tremendous.
Yeah, let's go, Madsen. The young fan saying. See where they go. The 1-2 pitch. Chopper back toward the mound. Tough play. Jimmy's around the bag. Has it. Throws to first in time to get Kennedy. He's loving it. Everybody's loving it here at the ballpark. Ryan Madsen, another scoreless inning. We go to the bottom of the 8th. It'll be Chase Utley and then Jason Worth, followed by the number 5 batter, Raul Ibanez. for the ballpark. It's coming up Monday, September 6th at 7:05. That's the night game in that day-night doubleheader against the Florida Marlins. The day game is at 1:05. There's also a game on Tuesday the 7th at 7:05 and Wednesday the 8th at 7:05. Get your tickets by going to Phillies.com. We go to the bottom of the 8th inning. This one has been a good one. There have been a lot of base runners for both squads. The Phillies still hanging on to a 1-0 lead as we go to the bottom of the 8th, and Doug Slayton is the new pitcher for the Nationals. He's done pretty well for Washington this year. He's allowed 27 hits in 30 innings, 12 walks, but an earned run average of 3.00.
This is an amazing game. It'd be 1-0 with all these base runners.
Yeah, the Phillies have stranded 7, but they stranded 7 through the first 4. They haven't stranded anybody the last 3 innings because the Nationals bullpen has retired the last 6 batters in relief of Jason Marquis, who went the first 5. Chase is 1 for 2, a single, a walk, a run scored. He has scored the only run of the night. He lifts that foul down the left field line. Bernardina and Desmond come over. Pretty good slide.
All right, got the information. Phillies carried 2 first-year men in '64, Rick Wise and Johnny Briggs, the left-handed hitting outfielder. If they sent them back to the minor leagues, they risked losing them under what was then called the bonus rule. To find out what that was, I don't remember, but anyway, won that second game 8-2. Thanks to John Rossi, our good buddy from AT&T, who made it possible for me to read this on this phone.
Nice. Now, why did they have the 2 bonus?
I don't know.
Okay. Too many questions?
It's like I told you. I knew they had to keep them, but I didn't know why. So that'd be a fun thing to look up. And, you know, guys like Skip Clayton out there, or Rich Westcott, or those guys that are so good at Phillies history will let us know.
Yeah, because the Phillies have a Rule 5 selection on their roster this year.
Right, and there was no Rule 5 back then.
Wasn't Roberto Clemente a Rule 5?
Yeah, you know, he was, but I don't think it was called a Rule.
Right, not the same
It's
way.
not like it is now.
David Herndon's a Rule 5 selection, but David, he'll be 25 in September. He's 24 right now. You're talking about an 18-year-old.
18, and Johnny Briggs was very, very young, too. He could have been, Johnny was from Patterson, New Jersey, I believe. And he couldn't have been but 19 and 20, probably.
Ball is outside, and Chase runs it even 2-2.
Not about 64, you like to forget.
Well, the perfect game, something you don't want.
That was great. Johnny Cowson won the All-Star game that year, the home run off Dick Raditz at Shea Stadium.
Chase lines it to left. Bernardina, he misread it. Now he comes running on and makes the catch. So 1 away. Hey, after the ball game, don't forget, former Phil's All-Star closer Ricky Vitalico breaks down all the action from this game and provides expert analysis found nowhere else. Phillies postgame live presented by Sloan Toyota. Following the game right here on Comcast Sports Network. Ricky's going to be breaking down all the base runners the Phillies have had and the Nationals have had. Nationals have stranded 11. Phillies have stranded 7. And here's Jason Worth. Brad Lidge loosening up in the pen for the Phillies. Another insurance run or 2.
Yeah, he hasn't had a save situation for a while. He was up the other night in one, and then Phillies opened it up against the Giants, took it out of the save.
As it pops it up. It's a mile high on the edge of the infield, and Adam Kennedy makes the catch for the second out. Well, this Nationals bullpen, which has really been overused out of necessity, has retired the 8 batters they have faced in this game. And Miguel Batista is loosening up now in the pen. So Jim Riggleman, first full year as the skipper of the Nats.
A slurvy looking breaking ball there. Combination curve slider, 82. Another one.
To the count to roll. He lays off as they went farther away, and it's 1-2. Jason Marquis started this ball game for the Nationals. He went 5, and then Joel Peralta pitched 2 scoreless in relief, and now it's Slayton, who has been able to get the first 2 outs here in the 8th. And the 2-2 pitch, and a call, strike 3, a fastball right down the middle. And Ibanez goes down looking. So the Nationals bullpen retires the 9 batters that have been sent up there to face them. Brad Lidge is ready to come on as we go to the top of the 9th. Host your next corporate or social event at Citizens Bank Park. The ballpark offers a variety of unique spaces like the Hall of Fame Club and on-site catering available year-round for many types of functions, both large and small. Take advantage of all the ballpark has to offer. Tours, message board usage. Call 215-218-5100 or go to Phillies.com/special events for more details. Brad Lidge comes onto the ball game to pitch for the Phillies as we go to the top of the 9th. Phillies have recorded 13 shutouts this year. And Lidge in his 32nd game. 1-1 with a 4.28 earned run average. Wills, he's been better lately. In fact, in this month, he is 6 for 6 in save opportunities in 7 games.
Well, the last tough night he had was in Washington when Zimmerman hit that game-winning home run to dead center field off him. And since then, as you say, Tom, he's picked it up.
Well, they needed to pick it up one more time, as he will face Willie Harris. Willie Harris during his career against Brad, 3 for 9 with a double and a triple. And I can see both of those extra base hits, the double down the right field line and the triple down the right field line.
Both in Washington.
Yep. He's pinch hitting. It'll be the top of the order after him, and he takes a slider for a strike. A liner toward the gap in right center field. Jason Worth is there, and he makes the catch. 1 away. Well, this game will encore tonight at 10:30, tomorrow afternoon at 1 on the Comcast Network. And Phillies coverage on Comcast Sportsnet continues tomorrow as the Phils continue their series rival against the Nationals. Steven Strasburg against Kyle Kendrick. Coverage begins with Phillies pregame live tomorrow at 6:30 right here on Comcast Sportsnet. Well, 1 away here in the 9th, and here's Nyjer Morgan. Slider for a strike, and it's 0-1. See what Morgan's done tonight. He's been on base twice. And he lifts it toward left center. Slicing away from Victorino, but he's fast enough to get over and make the catch. 2 outs. Phillies have had 13 shutouts this year, 3 1-0 shutouts. And Brad Lidge needs 1 more out to make it 4. That says a lot about the starters, but also about the bullpen.
Well, Roy Halladay was involved in 2 of them, and Cole Hamels in the other one.
Here's Ian Desner with 2 away. Everybody on their feet. And he takes a pitch inside for a ball.
Yeah, Polanco's sitting right on the line right now, and the outfielder is very deep in a no doubles defense. Off the line is Sweeney at first. There you see Polanco.
A liner down the left field line, angling toward the corner, and it's off the 3 in 3:34. It stays in the yard as the throw goes to second, and the tying run is aboard. And in all honesty, the Phillies are fortunate that the tying run's aboard and is not in the dugout.
Yeah, he hit that thing so hard it never got high enough to leave the ballpark. Well, that banged off that 334 too. Here it is, the hanging slider, and Morris crushes it.
He thought he had it.
Yeah, you saw the way he tossed the bat. He hit right off the top of the 3. See Liv saying, "Come on, keep it in the yard."
Carlos Ruiz needs a new glove. I think he needs something. Yeah, the glove broke, so Mark Anderson, the Phillies athletic trainer, will head down the stairs. They'll get a new piece of leather. I doubt they'll be able to fix the current piece. Done 4 for 18, excuse me, Wheels, and 9 strikeouts against Lidge.
You know, you stand around and wait. Well, they got it quick,
and it's a new one.
Yeah.
Let's listen to the fans. Carlos, all he needs to do is go get a new glove, and they'll start yelling "chooch." And now they're saying you can't go to the mound and talk to Lidge. I didn't know that rule. Or if it is rule. Chris Guccione, the second base umpire, said I
don't know. Here's one you say we'll check on.
Dunn tonight has a hit. He's walked twice. And the pitch to him. Check swing, foul ball, 0-1. That was a fastball, and it was riding in. $45,000 and some change. The 273rd sellout overall, the 101st in a row. And it's 0-1 Adam Dunn. Lays off a slider, and it's 1 ball and 1 strike. His hand is tired from clapping. Now he's using the glove. to go with another fastball. It was outside, 2-1. Brad, during the stretch this month, has allowed just 3 hits, including Desmond's double. There's Zimmerman. And it is a nail biter. For all the runners the Phillies left early. Slider hit foul, and it's 2 balls and 2 strikes. Now Ruiz goes out to talk to Lynch.
I wonder if they might try and go upstairs with Dunn right now. He's such a low ball hitter. You know, that slider is a pitch that obviously is going down.
And sometimes down and in, sometimes backdoor.
Yeah, that's when Dunn hurts you. Usually he'll hit the ball down. Now if you bounce it and you swing, you're all right.
The 2-2. Slider swung on and missed. He got him. He went all the way down and he picked up another save. It's his 7th save in his last 7 chances. And the Phils pick up yet another 1-0 shutout. Overall, it's their 14th shutout of the season. It's their 4th 1-0 shutout. And Brad Lynch closes the door on Roy Halladay's 16th win of the season. Well, that's some pitching right there. Brad Lynch, a heck of a pitch.
This looked like the Hinsky slider. I mean, it's almost like a replay, except that's Adam Dunn with that same kind of swing. And that looked like the same spot as that pitch to Hinsky to end the World Series.
Well, our W.B. Mason delivery of the game, Wheels, it's the only run of the night.
Only run of the game, and it's this ball hit down the first baseline by Raul Ibanez, goes off the glove of Adam Dunn, who scored a double, probably correctly, because it was hit pretty hard, and, you know, Dunn just didn't get to it. And that is our W.B. Mason delivery of the game.
Well, it's the only hit, or the only RBI, I should say, in the ball game. And Raul drives in Chase Utley with the game's only run. Roy Halladay tonight, 7 innings, 8 hits, no runs, 5 strikeouts. He now is at 200 innings pitched. He's at 16 wins. His earned run average keeps diminishing. And the guy that scored the only run tonight is Chase Utley, and he's down on the field with Sarge. Sarge, take it away.
Hey, guys, thanks a lot. Chase, a great team effort today, 1-0 ball game. Pretty good game all the way around.
It was a great game. You know, it starts with Roy. He pitched outstanding. We played some good defense behind him. We scored a run for him, and Brad closed it out.
How about that double play? Did you end up tagging him on the leg? It looked like that from the replay.
I thought I tagged him. The umpire didn't see it. I wasn't sure. I had to make sure I got the out at first base, but it's one of those plays. Sometimes it works out, sometimes it doesn't.
How about that play when Ibanez threw the ball into you, line drive that was hit? Ball was off for a little bit, but you stayed with it.
Yeah, it sailed on him a little bit. I was able to catch it. I saw that he was trying to get around me. I figured he had to swipe the bag, and I just, lucky enough, he came off.
You're looking good at the plate. How are you feeling?
I'm feeling okay. I think there's some room for improvement, but it's feeling better day by day.
All right, continued success. Thanks for coming on.
Thanks.
Okay, guys.
All right, Sarge, thank you very much. Chase Utley scored the only run of the night for the Phillies. They win at 1-0, and then Brad Lynch, well, he closed the door on another save.